So you've probably already seen this video, but this is absolutely crazy and I'll explain to you why. But for the first time, it looks like AI has now finally entered into the political landscape. Now this is a video 100% made with AI, and we're gonna break down the model and how it's kind of made, but more importantly, what this really means for not only politics, but other legacy industries that are not used to seeing stuff like this. But this video here has gone absolutely viral with millions and millions of viewers. And ultimately what this means is that there is now a new political reality where historically you'd have to fundraise hundreds of millions of dollars just to have basically the runway for the entire campaign. And when it came to advertising marketing, you'd have to pay a lot of agencies a ton of money just to get videos and, again, the marketing angles and the messages out to the public. But now it looks like things just may be changing, and I did not expect this on my bingo card, as they say, for 2026. I had some other predictions. This was not one of them. Many of the videos created by filmmaker Charlie Curran cast Pratt in cinematic hero-style scenarios. Now, if we go to the filmmaker's profile, Charles here, we can see specific videos. Now, this video here is 1 minute and 39 seconds and has essentially 5 million views. To get this, especially on like legacy media, if it was the TV or whatever, you'd have to pay a lot of money. Instead, this Charles individual probably spent $100 to $300 on just generations. He used Seedance 2 to my understanding, so it is the most expensive model. For a 15-second video, you're spending about 135 credits. So depending how, your tiers and where he's really using this model from, obviously pricing differs, but very cheap. And he got 5 million views from this. And there's an important thing to note as well. And Gary Vee says this, right now you are seeing pushback with like AI content, AI media. That will slowly disappear, right? And if we look throughout history, for generations, people have been watching cartoons. So AI is just like another format. For instance, a lot of people have watched Simpsons and like Simpsons is cartoonish. And my point being that AI is just another format. So you will eventually just want to watch AI generated content if it's good. It's like advertising, right? We can create so many ads with AI, but if they're still bad, they're not going to perform. And it's not because they're AI, it's just because they don't have a story or they're not good from a DR perspective. Gary Vee says this will become the norm. And there's no really difference between someone producing it and someone creating it with AI. It's just, is the story good? For instance, the Star Wars video here, it got basically 3 million. And so if it's good storytelling, and obviously Star Wars has great storytelling, people will watch it, okay? And yes, obviously the ability to intertwine characters and make it look real is fascinating nonetheless. We even have this one here that's got 1 million views.
A lot easier to fight fires when there's water in the reservoirs.
Like, it's still mind-blowing how real this looks and how good it looks. They're only going to get better. And again, Seedance 2 is one of the top models right now when it comes to AI generation. And all in all, you're spending a few $100s and you're getting millions of views, right? This has 1.5 million. This has 1 million. And you can just keep reposting stuff like that, right? This has 500,000. And historically, you would have to spend millions of dollars when it comes to this type of advertising. So experts say the buzz stemming from AI-generated videos underscores how the technology is becoming a powerful campaign tool among politicians looking to lambast their opponents in a more unconventional way. Exactly. And even just from a marketing perspective, it's great to test potentially just some angles before really putting dollars behind it, just to see if it sticks. And if it does, then you can go into true production and actually create something that is of very, very high quality. But again, you can see with AI, it's already of high quality. Ultimately, it's a way of speaking the language of memes, and the language of memes is the currency of the internet. This is the next big thing. So AI gives you the speed, but you also have to have someone who is so-called tapped into the market or has a pulse on kind of the Gen Z culture that is currently basically eating everything at the moment. So the culture is tremendously changing, and your old infomercials just aren't really working. Or the classic political attack campaigns, they just don't tend to work as well anymore because people are just jaded from seeing them. So at this point, the technology has become widespread and nearly anyone can effectively create propaganda on behalf of a particular candidate. And obviously there are a tremendous amount of cons to this as well, right? There's not specific policies in place just yet. We know that government institutions take a lot longer. Even trademarks, logos are very important. And again, there's just not policies in place yet because it's just so new. So this is like a first of its kind. And I do AI all day, every day. So I was very intrigued to see what kind of the sentiment in the market was from something like this. And ultimately, again, with AI, it comes back to cost. The ability for AI just to reduce costs tremendously is very, very appealing. So I think that AI-driven meme wars are already becoming the state of politics online, but crucially, people are very exhausted by the amount of noise online and by AI slop. And again, it's not just that it's AI slop. Sure, you can generate anything and you can put it on the internet, but AI plus storytelling, AI plus, creative or whatever the case may be, it will work. Everyone's getting too caught up on the fact that it needs to look real. That's not the game you want to be playing. The game you want to be playing is using it for speed, having some story to it, getting angles, testing to find the winner. Once you have the winner, then you can really put dollars behind there. And all you're doing is, like Hormozy would say, is you're basically just pulling the revenue forward. And for instance, let's just play a thought experiment out here. If we didn't have these videos, this individual would probably not be where he is. So instead, Spencer would have to come up with a different marketing campaign, different message, and basically try to get similar results. It would be very tough. So these were bangers. And if you were historically trying to make this in a traditional sense, number one, this would cost a tremendous amount of money that probably they don't have. And so you go, well, we'll rely on AI, and once we find winners, we can just double down on that messaging. Again, you're not trying to make it look perfect. You're not trying to make it look real. You're just trying to use it for the speed and then use it for storytelling and put all those traditional aspects into it. But now we're just utilizing AI. Now, when these models do become very, very good, and they have taste, okay, a lot of the people, that's cope, tremendous amount of cope. You kind of hear that as the last mode is taste. It's like, get real, okay? If they are solving the world's hardest math and science problems, do you really think they're not gonna be able to learn taste, okay? Like, get real. It's fear-based, okay? Which, again, I understand. But these models will become very, very good. And by that point, there's probably UBS or UBI or whatever. And then from there, you don't need a massive team and everyone can kind of become entrepreneurs, I guess, or at least according to moonshots. But it's interesting to see how people will use AI to their advantage and go to market quickly. So I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe down below. As always, my friends, stay human. I'll see you next time.